You know, I've heard that you've written about 3,000 songs.
I have 3,000 songs published.
3,000 songs. Now,
More
where do you get the ideas? I mean, your head must be pounding.
Not really. That's just something I do, and you can just look out. You know, I just look at people and I can write a song. I can look at you and write a song about what we're doing. I have a gift of rhyme. I've got 3,000 songs. That's not to say they're all good songs, because I just write because it's fun, and I write poetry and things. But I've been lucky. I've had a lot of songs recorded by other artists, and a lot of the songs that I've recorded are songs I've written.
Well, what do you hear? Do you hear the music, or you hear the words? I mean, or is it...
It comes to me at the same time, because I don't read music, but I make it up. And so I just hear a sound in my head, and so I just start playing my little guitar. Sometimes I write with a banjo or the auto harp. Depends on what style. I don't play piano well, but I play well enough that I can write with it. And so usually it all comes at the same time for me.
Now you're actually from a family of what, 12 of you?
12 kids, 6 girls, 6 boys, from the mountains, and all my people are very musical, so there was always a lot of music going on. My mother's people especially were musical, and we grew up singing in church, a lot of those holy roller gospel songs, and where you get that good spirit. So I really learned to sing in church, and I think a lot of my music kind of carries that old gospel feel.
Well, when you were a kid, did you also write songs? Did you think musically when you were...
Yeah, I started playing guitar when I was 7 and started writing songs, and I was singing on radio and TV when I was 10. I was on television before we ever owned one, or I had seen one, because there was a local show in our town, a radio show and TV show, was sponsored by a man named Cass Walker that had a chain of grocery stores, and so he had his own show where he advertised his groceries. And that's actually where I started, and I was on the Grand Ole Opry when I was about 11. And that was a big thrill for me, and so I've been at it a long time. I'm 41 now, so music world's about all I've ever known.
When you were a kid, how did you go the first time? Would you audition to get on something, or how did you feel about that?
Well, I had an uncle that he thought bigger than a lot of the people, and I just wanted to make it my business. My daddy used to listen to the Grand Ole Opry and the Farm and Home Hour, the local, shows there at home, and I knew that people were going somewhere to sing. And I wasn't afraid. I always had a real outgoing personality. A lot of the kids in our family were more shy and bashful, more bashful than me. But I would just beg everybody to let me sing. I just wanted to be noticed. I wanted to be seen, I guess. And there were so many of us kids, we didn't get a lot of special attention. Our folks loved us all the same, but, usually, they couldn't just single one out with that many kids running around. And so I guess I just needed a lot of attention, so I would just bug anybody to let me sing. And I used to bug my uncle to death to take me down to the radio station, my Uncle Bill Owens, and he did. And so first time I got up on radio with my little guitar, and the people just loved me. I thought it was because I was good, but now I know it was because I was little. And people always appreciate a little kid or a dog, or an animal or something. So that's what they say in the music business: don't follow a kid or a dog.
Never.
But anyhow, so I grew up to be a dog, but at the time I was a kid. But anyhow, that's when I really first started, and I just remember that thrill of when the people applauded and they made me think that they liked me, and I just knew that was going to be the world that I was going to live in, and that's what I wanted to do from then on. And from then on, I was impossible. I just wanted to go everywhere to sing.
Did you ever think that all this was going to someday lead to a pinnacle where you would be teaching Sly Stallone how to sing? I mean, did you? That must have been a hell of a job to do, huh?
Well, I didn't actually. It wasn't an easy job, and I didn't really actually ever teach him how to sing. But Sly was fun to work with. He knew he wasn't a singer, but he had fun trying. I appreciated that he tried so hard. He's very serious about his work, and he just threw himself right into that and really tried his best. To teach somebody to sing is one thing. He grew up loving rock and roll music. I mean, he's from, I guess, somewhere in New York.
Philadelphia and New York, yeah.
So he loved all those old songs, but to try to teach somebody to sing country music when they don't even like it necessarily. So that was, I had my hands full, but it was fun. Even though that movie was a big flop, that was one of the better times I've ever had on a project.
A lot of your career, and you know that a lot of people kind of took pokes at you and made fun at a time in your career, and you really seemed to just let it bounce off you and go ahead. What was it inside? You just knew what you were, and...
Yeah, I've always known who I am, and that's I always, as far as the way I look totally artificial and phony, but inside I'm very real. And, well, it's true, and I know that. I'd be an idiot to think that this looked all real. You know, I mean, I wasn't born with this. But anyhow, I can't let people take me away from what I believe and what I think. I've always had a very strong faith in God, I guess, growing up in church, so I always found my strength within myself through the way I found God, or knew God to be for me. So it always, you know, used to hurt my feelings, and it has hurt. But I mean, any sensitive person, things embarrass you or hurt your feelings, but I never let it stop me, because if I'd have listened to people early in my career, I'd have still been in Seville with probably 12 kids of my own, with, you know, just probably with no telling what, anyhow.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you didn't. We're glad you